Hey guys, Hannah again, brand manager from Vision Care Connect. I'm here to offer you some more branding tips and tricks that you can do to improve your brand. But today we're going to talk about what you can do starting out when you're building a brand or launching a brand or starting a company as a whole to make sure you are set up for success long term. The first step you need to do when setting up any company is set up long-term goals. Where do you want to be in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Where do you want to be before you sell? What do you want that to look like? And then as you set those long-term goals, step 2 is to set short-term goals as a checklist that will get you there to your long-term goals. Obviously, things will change. There are going to be loopholes and things that will throw you for a loop, like our pandemic that no one obviously predicted. But as you go through life, you can use those checkpoints to make sure you are on the right track with your brand and with your company. But along with setting checklists and checkpoints that you should do over the short term, you also need to set things that you shouldn't do, which it's not always going to be bad things. It just might be things that you want to make sure you don't do that are counterproductive to your goal and your brand for the long term. If you're setting out to be a company that focuses on technology, then you don't need to be setting up little things that aren't productive to your technological growth. So once you have those 3 steps taken care of, again, that is setting long-term goals, setting short-term checkpoints, and then setting things that you shouldn't do in writing to make sure that you're not letting your brand sway. Other things that you need to do is you need to go ahead and from the beginning name what you want people to say about you in the long term. Who do you want your brand to be? Do you want to be a brand where people just care about your product? Or do you want to be a brand that people trust? Like, for example, Southwest. You will get on a Southwest plane and put your life on the line and you don't even know who the pilot is because you trust that brand. And so is that the recognition and the brand trust that you're going for? And if so, what should you do again to get there? You need to set some checklists up. You need to look at what other brands similar to your goals do in order to stay that way. And then you also need to look at brands that you don't want to be like and write those things down. There are so many brainstorming steps in this process that can help in the beginning if you identify them. And then also step 6 is to nurture all of those checklists that you've set up. Nurture the short-term goals so that you can get to the long-term goals with your brand. To build a successful brand, you have to constantly check yourself and make sure that you are on track and that you're becoming the type of brand and company personality that people will trust, that people will love, and that people will advocate for. So take care of those 6 steps that also can be broken up into a lot of tiny steps in order to nurture those through the end so that 20 years from now your company is exactly the way you want it to look.